Hello friends, and welcome to Fishtale. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so very much. Fishtale is my lovely, lovely little survival world that I've been working on for a couple months now. And inside of this world, I have given myself the goal of catching anywhere between 300,000 and 600,000 fish inside of survival Minecraft, with of course the side objective of creating a lovely world called Wavetale, which is from a game, by the way, and I love it so much. So that is what we are going to be doing in this series, and we do have quite a bit of a head start. We've got a couple of rocks already placed from one of the starter areas in the game. But we are still a very far ways behind being done. Genuinely, I don't know how long this is gonna take me, but I imagine probably like a year or so, right? Maybe not for the fish catching, but definitely for the building. That is going to take quite a long time, especially considering how hard I am on myself when it comes to the accuracy of these builds and everything. It certainly has been a rough time so far, creating just what I've got here so far, which is not very much. We've got just these couple of rocks over here. We've got this lovely little dock platform where I'm going to be doing all my fishing today. We've got a tiny little starter island over here. It's filled with a bunch of barrels in the bottom. Don't look at it. Don't look at it right now. And then we, of course, have this lovely boat here called Anita. Just to put it into context, this is maybe like 8% of the one starter island location called the Night Orchard, which is what we are hopefully going to be doing a little bit of progress on in this video. We got we got lots of stuff we're going to build. We've got a little dock that we're going to place all the way along this corner here. And then on the other side of the dock, we're going to start trying to build up the landmass that connects it all. So we're going to need lots of terracottas and lots of brown mushrooms, but I have already been collecting some of the brown mushrooms, so we're okay on that front. We don't need too many of those right now to begin with, but that is our goal for at least this video. It is going to be getting this dock that's going to be over here fully completed, and then we're gonna get a little head start on the island and stuff, and then maybe I will figure out some stuff that we're gonna do after that, at least in terms of general like landscaping and stuff. I know I wanted to do a spot that was on this side that had lots of like greenery and lots of moss and stuff. That's very lovely, but I don't know how much time I'll have for this video, unfortunately. It has now officially been over 2 weeks since the last time I pressed the record button, but I am very happy to be back, and I should have started sooner, because as soon as I started recording it, I've started immediately feeling better, and it is very lovely to be here. And thank you everybody for being patient. That being said though, we are very, very much behind in fishing. I don't know how many we are at 67,457 fish caught total so far. I have been doing very, very, very little bit of fishing, but I'll only probably like 10 minutes or something like that. Very small, so nothing to really talk too much about, I reckon. Right. That being said though, we are very much behind in our fishing, and I have a lot of fishing that I want to do, and I have no idea for how long I'm going to. But given the circumstance, I probably am going to do it a whole lot more than I normally do. It is very lovely, and it makes me very happy to do fishing, so that's what we're going to do at the very start of this video. So, without further ado, let's just jump straight back into doing our first little fishing time lapse in the... Why, it's been so long since I said that. It's been so long. Alright, here we go.
There's a shape drawn on your shoulder. It seems to know what's up. There's a dragon on your shoulder. He seems to keep your soul. The books he's got you about your favorite soul. Hasn't been touched since you moved on. There's a shape drawn on your bedside drawer. It seems to know what's wrong.
Oh my goodness gracious. This has been an absolutely lovely time of fishing and building and planning and everything. Oh wow, I mean, I have been building, just not in my survival world quite yet. In between my fishing and everything, I have been in my creative world trying to come up with what it is I wanted to do next. And I do think, while I really do want to do the greenery and stuff that I mentioned over before on this side, I really want to do the main structure of the island, which is called the Night Orchard, by the way. Both the island and the structure. I mean, the island I think is called that because of the structure. But if you didn't know, there is a big old lighthouse in the middle of the island in Wavetale, which is called the Night Orchard. And it actually used to be a giant observation tower observatory. Haha, we got it there at the end. And there also used to be a bunch of like greenery and like greenhouse stuff related on the side. I think that's because the main character's grandpa owned it or something, and they were a botanist and they love plants and stuff. I don't know the lore too well exactly, but all I do know is I'm ready to build and I'm excited. The only downside to that is, gosh, I did not take it easy in terms of the blocks needed for this. there are so many different blocks. So while it has officially been 3 whole weeks since I've uploaded anything, I want to take my time on this video. So I am going to do as much as I possibly can in terms of building and stuff. And I don't want to do very many more time lapses. Maybe I'll do some after I get the main pieces in, or something like that. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do here yet, but I do know that I'm very excited. So here's what we're gonna do very quickly. We are going to make a start on the actual island itself, right? So we're gonna grab brown mushroom blocks and maybe some other blocks to use as like a texturing, maybe some mud and some mud bricks and some concrete powder. I think that could be a good one. I don't know what to do for texturing still, but we're gonna put some brown blocks here that is going to work as the sand, and then over this direction we're going to have a big old dock that we're going to do a bunch of fishing and stuff off of course. I mean, can't build something and not fish off of it. Kind of a staple staple point for the videos now, I feel like. But yeah, we're gonna do a big old dock. We're gonna do a bunch of land. I completely reworked the lights here because the ones in the game, they look very coppery in that they've got like a purplish hue to them, but I really think they're just a bunch of like cast iron just molded into a shape. So I'm gonna change these out for nether brick fences, and I'm pretty sure blackstone. we'll just pretend that it's cast iron or something, and I do think they looked much better. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do the dock. We're gonna do some ground placing, maybe some stairs and stuff. And oh my goodness, our first diagonal build. I've got a lovely little building that I've got to place around about this location here. That's at a 45-degree angle. Every single piece of the building is on an angle, and it was terrible. It certainly tested my abilities as a builder. So if it looks a little funny, that's probably why. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do very quickly. All right, we are going to get started on this as quick as we possibly can. So we're just gonna do a little tiny twirl. And there is our lovely little building. Oh my goodness. First thing you are probably going to notice is that the water, I changed the color of it. So I've got a mod right now called color overlay, which I actually think got discontinued or something. It just disappeared off the face of the planet. So that's cool. But I have been using it to change up the color of the water recently, and I very much like this darker kind of. I don't know if brackish is the right word for it, but I certainly like the darker waters. It makes it feel more deep and more like actual ocean. If I can't see the bottom very well, and the blue one definitely did also have that effect. But I just felt like I like the slightly darker. More colors, just a little bit better, and also it's in preparation for my next series as well, which is the one where I'm gonna catch the most fishies I've ever caught before in my entire life. But that is for the future, of course. But I just have been preparing, and this is what I wanted my watercolor to look like for that world as well. Oh my gosh, wait. I forgot to mention that I also updated to the newest update. So we've got all the whatever stuff is new. Oh, I forgot. Sulfur cubes. Those things. Those are around somewhere. Probably not gonna be able to see any in this world. I don't think there's any around here, but that's okay. I don't have too many plans for those for the future anyway, so I suppose that works out nicely, but that is totally fine with me. And I do hope we like this water. Is this water good? Good water? Good water. I think it's good water. It doesn't look as drinkable, but it's still very cool. And now we move on to the builds. So this here is the diagonal build that I mentioned before, and oh my gosh, I've got a lot of diagonal builds I got to do, and a lot of diagonal builds that I want to do, because while this did test me as a builder, I definitely think it was one of the most fun builds for me to do, just because I had no idea what I was doing. Let me get on top of my ship here so I can give you a good look-see at what the building looks like, right? And then I will show you the reference I used to build it, because that's what this whole world is, pretty much, is just me referencing stuff. For the most part, that is. I can't get up here. I mean, we are rebuilding an entire world after all, so I do think I mentioned it already, but this whole entire survival world that we're in streaming is going to be a reimagining of a game called Wavetale, one of my favorite games in the entire planet. So this is all me using the game as a reference. Now, I do still want to go through this brown mushroom floor here, and we're going to do a bunch of texturing. So we've got a whole thing lined up for what we're going to texture with this. It's going to be like dirt, coarse dirt, rooted dirt, lots of brown concrete powder, which means I'll probably need some string, which I have plenty of from fishing. Oh yeah, fishing. Wait a second. How many fish did I catch so far? I was at 67,000. We're at 76,214. Hey, that's pretty good for just like 4 to 5 days. Not as much as I could have gotten. Again, I've been I've been quite distracted. I also have been playing Repo, so that's gonna be very exciting to stream. Oh, wait a second. I don't know if this video might come out on Saturday. That's my target goal. But also, Saturday, I'm going to be streaming. That's right. Oh, I've missed it again. Streaming Saturday, 12 o'clock, my time, PST. Maybe I'll make a YouTube post about it. Maybe I won't, but my Twitch is in the description. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's probably gonna be Repo or Minecraft or fishing or Repo. It's one of those two. So I hope the stream goes well. And if you're watching this, then I'll probably be there in a few hours, I think. I've got to set up some stuff still, but it's very fun. Anyway, goodness gracious. Here is the build. So we'll do a little zoom in really quick. So here's the build right here, right? So on the left side, you've got this little thing right here, which is supposed to be half of a boat. More specifically, it looks like one of these that I'm standing on, the boat Anita, but it's more of like a cast iron and cut in half. So it's got quite a bit of detail looking stuff on it, and it's on a diagonal, which was the problem. This whole thing, everything I built on a diagonal, the roof, the fishing lines, the little swing, it's all diagonal. And it's my first time building a diagonal house like this, and it was really fun, and I wanted to do it again, and I really loved it. And here is the build, and then here is the reference. So you can see that I've got it for the most part down, and it did take me a few iterations, and it was a lot of creative mode. Oh my goodness gracious, a lot of creative mode. And then we of course have the little spark generator over here, which also is from the game, as well as the big old dock. I know I've mentioned it before already, but this is the dock that I've been bigging up this whole time. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm gonna fish off of it right now. Right. Well, we have done a lot already in this episode mentally. I've done a lot of building and a lot of resource gathering, and I've still got even a lot more to do, because the majority of the resources that we need for the big lighthouse that's going to go in the center here is going to be nether quartz. So we've still got a lot to do, and I think I'm going to do just a little bit of fishing before I get started on building and everything. This has all been quite stressful, so we're gonna fish for the rest of the day, and then right after that we are of course going to jump straight into building up the lovely night orchard behind us. The only thing is that I just want to give a little disclaimer in that it is still going to be missing a lot of detail, and there won't be an interior right now. We definitely are going to have an interior. I want this place to be spick and span and beautiful and filled with all kinds of stuff, just like Anita. Our little boat over there, that's a full interior done, so that makes me very happy. But I want to do that for the lighthouse as well, and as well the building behind us. But I just wanted to give you a little warning that the lighthouse is not finished, so the building that I built today will be missing quite a bit of details, but that's okay. I work on it as I go, and I'll definitely figure it out. But we are going to jump straight into building up this lovely lighthouse now, and I will see you all in a moment. Oh my goodness. I knew while I was building this in my creative world at first that it was going to trump the landscape just a little bit. But I don't think I quite realized just how tall this thing is. Oh my goodness, I love it so much. It's huge. I don't know. I think I don't know if I've got the scale wrong, or maybe this thing just truly is just a big lighthouse. But either way, I love it a lot. And this has been already 2 whole days of building, and I am so I'm so tired. It didn't take very long to put into the world because you know I have been using Lightmatica, of course, for these types of things because this is a very big passion project for me. I really wanted it to be as accurate as possible, which means a lot of creative world planning and kind of importing, exporting type of stuff for like schematics and everything. So I have been doing that, and it's been quite the lifesaver, and I've very much enjoyed building this. But oh my goodness, this took a very long time. Once again, there is no interior, and there are still many decorations that we are missing, including the entire outside of this lighthouse here. So this whole section, this here, there's going to be like two big like grand stairway things on the side there. You can see them poking off. I think it's going to go probably like 4 to 5 blocks this direction, and then it's going to swoop this way on both sides, and then the back side there will be an entrance as well. So that's what we've got. That's what we've got to do for the lighthouse for it to be finished. Yeah, I also need to take a nap, both in real life and in Minecraft. Oh my goodness gracious, this has been a fantastic time. So we've now officially finished the beginning stages of the night orchard, and I do hope everybody likes it so far. I don't really have a good way to view it. Oh wait a second, I have an idea. There we go. We'll go into my creative world. Ta-da! There we go. Well, I'll show you what I've got in my creative world so far. Oh, good. Don't look at this. I'm sorry. Yeah, there we go. There it is. I think the preferred viewpoint, though, is probably around about here. Yeah, this lighthouse is huge. You can't get it in the same shot. So yeah, this is what we've got so far. It looks absolutely lovely. It is a bit floating right now, but that is, once again, because I've got to build up an entire island still underneath of it. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but it certainly is exciting. What I am not excited for, though, is the resources. I've been struggling very badly to get my hands on all the pale oak. Okay. I do have a question, though, regarding the series. How do we feel? How are we feeling? Do we like it? Is this good? Is this good? Is this a good series that I've got planned? I know it's gonna have to be long term in terms of like the amount of progress that we do, because this is only one section of the map, and there's probably like 8 different locations that we have to build, and we've only just now got part of the first one done. So I imagine that this is probably going to take like an entire year or more to be able to finish properly. So I'm just wondering, do we want to see the entire world of Wavetale, or do you want me to just fully complete the entire island of Night Orchard and then we move on to a different series? I know some of the other areas though are not as detailed or as packed, and some of them are even more detailed and even more packed. So there is a good balance in the different locations. I'm just curious what you all are thinking that you would want for this series, because I've just been thinking, I know I wanted to do another series after this one where I would be catching the most fish I've ever caught in my entire life, right? And I'd have a new skin, I've got everything completely ready to go, but I feel like this one is also very long term. So if I want to start the other one, I don't want to do it in the middle of this one, because then I'll have 2 series going, and all I'm going to be doing is fishing and building. So it doesn't really make too much sense to have 2 of them going at the same time. It's okay, I'll figure it out. Alright, oh my goodness. Well, with all of this stuff being done, I'm going to quickly drop off all of this stuff in my inventory, and I think, oh my goodness, a mending book. That's probably why that's up there. Here we go. Sorry, I almost left my mending book in there. Goodness gracious. Alright, so I think what we're going to do for the remainder of the video is we're going to do as much fishing as we possibly can. And we're just gonna do a little talking, a little fishing, you know the drill. This also is what the next video is going to be. No more building. I'm tired. Very tired, and I just want to fish. Let me retire. Let me retire. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And oh my goodness, I'm very excited to do a bunch of streaming. I'm still trying to figure out what it is I want to do, and I've got to set up my overlays and everything today. So that's very cool. I've got already some cool audios and stuff for noises or like follows and everything. I had no idea alerts were so easy to set up on Twitch. So I just edited down some audio. I'd made some point redeems. That's very cool. I definitely think if I can start being more comfortable in the stream areas, then oh my goodness, I certainly would love to do more of them, especially for fishing. I've got a lot of downtime. I may as well try and share it with everybody in terms of things that aren't time lapses, right? That surely would make sense. Oh my goodness, that's right. That reminds me. I definitely, in the future, I'm so sorry that I keep on bringing up stuff that I want to do on like streams and everything. I'm getting myself ready for it. Okay, I'm sorry. But another thing I wanted to do was there's a game called Oblivion, right? Which is one that I grew up playing quite a bit. And the way that I play is very weird. So I'm trying to do, or I'm wanting to do a playthrough of of me playing Oblivion, but seeing if I can beat the game while in passive mode. I don't know if that's possible. I know there's certain parts of like quests or whatever where you kind of have to do some stuff that you don't want to if you want to progress in the storyline, like beating Mankar Cameron, you know, to get out of the Paradise Realm and everything. It's all very weird. But those things aside, I wanted to try and do a fully pacifist run, and I think that would be very fun, and that could be something I could do maybe just like in between stuff that I'm doing, like in between my fishing and everything. Oh my goodness, that also reminds me that there's a location in the game called the Shivering Isles, which is very inspiring as well. More specifically, there is a location inside the Shivering Isles called Mania, and also there's one called Dementia, which is also lovely. It's just a little soggy. That's fine. But there's a location called Mania that feels very inspiring as well. So hopefully in the future I will be able to do some building of that type of stuff as well. It's all very like mushroom and very bright and golden, and it's very lovely. Maybe not anytime soon. I think I'm still not exactly sure when plans are happening. Now there are plans going on. I've got lots of different stuff happening. I'm just trying to sort it all out somehow. And I am sorry. All right, with that, I think I'm gonna go and get my overlays and everything ready for the Twitch streams and everything. So with that, I thank you all so very much for watching these weird videos that I make. I have no idea why you're here or what's keeping you, but wow, my goodness, do I appreciate you so much. And I suppose I will I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.